The road team pulled out the victory in Game 1. The home team bounced back with a victory in Game 2 to even up the series. Yes, that's right. The Melfort Mustangs and the Weyburn Red Wings are evened up at 1 game apiece after 2 games in the Canterra Seeds Cup final, and we're going to break it all down for you today. Welcome to the IKS Media Studios. I'm your host, Clark Munroe. This is SJHL Weekly, of course, presented by UPL, and we bring you the Canterra Seeds Cup Final Game 1 and 2 recap show. As we break down the final, we're going to be joined today by leading scorer of the Melfort Mustangs, Reilley Kotai. Plus, we're going to hear from 2025 RBC Community Ambassador Tylan Henrikson of the Yorkton Terriers. So it should be a great time. Before we get too deep into that, of course, we got to thank all of our sponsors, and that starts with Borgo, Capital Auto Mall, Canterra Seeds, of course, Chevrolet, Sask Lotteries, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Nutrien, RBC, Tourism Saskatchewan, Sask Energy, SJEU, Great Western, and SGI. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Let's bring in the stars of the show, of course, and also the stars of the SaskTel Max live local TV broadcast. Jamie Neugebauer to my far left, Rory McGouran in the middle here, guys. It was a great couple of nights. I was at Game 1. I was not at Game 2, so we'll have to get your opinions on that one more than me. But what a great start to the series. Obviously, getting to a 1-1 start, you can't ask for much more than that, Rory.
No, split, which has to be looked as a positive for the Weyburn Red Wings. A bounce-back game in typical Melfort Mustangs style has them with confidence that they're playing their right game after Game 2. But overall, 6 periods, really good hockey back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we got the pace, we got the physicality that we were hoping for. And the fans really came out, even on Easter Sunday. I was wondering and hoping that it would still be full on Easter Sunday, and it was. Maybe not as packed to smithereens as it was in Game 1, but still, great job, Melfort, and plenty of Weyburn parents came too. So it was a great time all around.
Yeah, it was a great mix. Even at Game 1, I was standing in Section U. You guys were broadcasting in Section 2 sections over from that. I was 2 sections over from your left when you were broadcasting, and I was right by the Weyburn section. So there was a great, every time anything happened, I was kind of right in the middle of both cheering sections, which was awesome. I was right by the garbage can kids, and I was right by the Weyburn fan base. So it was a really good spot to kind of check out for the first period or so of that game before I went down and stood with Daryl Rommel and Dazza Mitchell down behind the net there. But before we get started, we do want to hear from you. That's the best part about this show is we can hear from you. So make sure you throw your comments in on Facebook or YouTube. We already got a couple. Daytona Montaigne says, planning a watch party for Game 4. What's your favorite games to play things or do during a game? Watch it is my favorite thing to do during a game. Just watch the game.
Yeah, you can always create a
bingo
card of things that could happen.
Like prop bets.
Yeah, prop bets of things that could happen.
Kind of like...
make a sheet.
Yeah,
be like first goal and
whatever happens.
Whatever. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah.
First penalty. Who's going to take it? What type of penalty?
Right. Or that. Or like Roy said, like a bingo card. Like somebody says blames the referee for something in your watch party or whatever.
Too many men penalty.
Too many men. Like something super rare.
Play.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it and send it to us.
Yeah. I'm actually curious. If you do that, let us know. And then Daytona also said, I just saw Riley. Let's go Stangs. Yes, Reilley Kotai is going to be joining us in just a few minutes as we get the show going here. Again, make sure you send in your comments on Facebook and YouTube. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and let's get this underway. Gentlemen, we'll start with Game 1. As I mentioned, that was a great one as Weyburn took a 2-1 victory in that one. Kind of in a way... sent the message, we're not the underdogs here. We got the win in Game 1 on the road. Nobody necessarily saw that coming because Melfort's been A, so good on the road, and B, so good lately, just all season generally. Very hard to beat, and they lost Game 1. Nugsy, let's start with you there.
Yeah, well, first of all, I will give Weyburn credit, so calm down, everybody. But Trevor Blevins was not happy with his team after this one, and the biggest reason it wasn't execution or systems or anything like that. It was effort. He was not happy with the standard of effort that the Melfort Mustangs are used to. They are humans. They had a week and a bit off. I interviewed Logan Belton after the game. He said, "Man, maybe we got a little bit of a rust situation going on in the game," and they did. But on the other side, obviously, I'm sure you would agree with this, Rory. The Weyburn Red Wings did execute a perfect road game.
Yeah, 100%. I felt that they had to kind of weather an early storm in the first period. We talked about the depth of the Melfort Mustangs, and there were some shifts in the first where Weyburn was hemmed into their zone, and I wasn't liking the course if that was continuing over 60 minutes to be fruitful for the Weyburn Red Wings. But they were able to weather it, and then it just slowly slanted in their favor. I mean, holding Melfort to 5 shots overall in the third period, and the first one coming in about 11 minutes into the third period. Melfort didn't even have a shot yet. So, you know, you let Weyburn hang around. They do have the scoring power, and we saw just 2 missteps on a blue line, one shorthanded, Maharaj Berries, and the second one, defenseman flat-footed, stretch pass to DK Berries. Game's over because Zoll was fantastic in game 1, and that's how you got to beat the Melfort Mustangs, especially in the Northern Lights Palace. But obviously, you know, if Melfort wasn't as shaky, wasn't as kind of mentally flustered in their execution and their effort level, I feel that they might have been able to bury Weyburn in the first period, as they kind of did in the second period of game 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, in game 1, certainly, well, I think both games at some points could have gone either way for sure, too. But, I mean, you think about two things. First of all, 3 breakaway goals out of 3 goals. Kind of bizarre is Aiden Saddlemeyer's goal to open the scoring. Also, a bad bounce guy at the point too, go down the ice and score. So, very similar. But then also you look at the DK winner. What happened 2 minutes before that, literally? Bo Eisner with a bullet hits the crossbar, and there was an opportunity for the the league to implement, and us on the broadcast to implement video review, and they did it, and they didn't need to stop the play because they saw that it was no goal. It was communicated well. We sorted out some kinks in terms of communication, but overall, I think that went really well, and they figured out it, made the right call. And then Ethan DK scored, right? Soon after that, sort of before a whistle was blown. So it was interesting to see that.
I'm kind of wondering in that point too. And I mean, Melfort, if it was in their heads, it can't be, right? That's just unacceptable. But it's an interesting thought to maybe think if it was. Because in the NHL, if it's, if it does go in, but the play resumes, they will sound the horn and stop the play. So DK's goal wouldn't have even happened because it would have done that in the SJHL. But do you think, in any regard, while that 2-minute play was still going on, the fact that Melfort might still be thinking about, hey, was our goal in? We know we have video review. How is it going to be working? That's why they let DK sneak through on a breakaway, maybe just not paying attention. Well, I don't know, but...
Yeah, I mean, so I assume so to some degree, being the fact that they're human beings. And I did, on the broadcast, call out Zach Turner just a smidge on the game-winning goal because I felt like he, again, it's a bit of a speed difference between him and Ethan DK, like most guys. But he kind of peeled away from Ethan DK in the big moment and said, "Okay, Christian, Coombs, go make that save," and wasn't able to do it, which is fair enough because it's a breakaway with Ethan DK. But either way, again, hard to know for sure, Rory, but I would agree.
I literally thought, because I love the fact that we are able to utilize video review in terms of goals. It's not going to allow goaltender interference to come into play, but it'll make sure the puck crosses the line. It'll make sure that there's time on the clock. It'll make sure it wasn't punched in or there wasn't offside prior. So there's a lot of rules. But I talked to the production company. I talked to you before the game. I'm like, we're not going to need it. If we're going to need video review, I will be very shocked. I'm happy we have it. And of course, in game 1, the second,
huge moment,
third period, a huge moment, we need it. I'm like, wow, I was way off.
It was a great shot by Bo Eisner. And we'll see his goal in game 2. Is the shot that he hit the crossbar was a better shot than the one that he scored on.
Yeah,
but, the best shot is the one you score on. So
but just to confirm, just so everyone's on the same page here for the fan bases, the video review was utilized and it was not a goal. And just so everybody is aware as well, I was standing right behind the net when that happened with Dazza Mitchell. He is one of the best eyes in the game, and he said that didn't look like it went in from his perspective. And we were right beside each other, right behind the net. So.
And right after the game, pretty soon after the game was over, Trevor Blevins actually messaged me too, and he's like, "That wasn't in, right?" I was like, "Yeah, it wasn't in."
No,
but they are human, Rory. To your point.
And in fairness, that obviously was close. That we saw in the highlight pack, Reilley Kotai, who's going to be joining us shortly, had an amazing chance in front of the net that Angelo Zoll stopped. Angelo Zoll made some huge 10-bell saves in game 1 to keep them to just the one goal.
I think both goalies were wonderful. Both games.
Definitely. Like you said, 3 breakaway goals in game 1. It happens.
Weyburn in game 1, and I'm not taking away in game 2, but especially game 1. their blocking shot ability, they played as hard as you can want your team to play in front of you for a goaltender. Yeah. They were exceptional blocking shots, boxing out. Melfort couldn't really get to the front of the net, and Zoll, when he saw the puck, he stopped the puck.
Well, and here's the stat for you. Weyburn blocked 18 shots in game one. Yeah. They blocked 10 in game two.
I was going to say,
which game did they win?
Josh Carman had an amazing penalty kill shift. Three in a row, well, 2 in a row, and then it went to the other side, and I think LeBeau blocked one, and then back, and Josh Carman blocked another one.
It was nice puck movement by Melfort, so that's why Carman had to be black and blue by the end. But
yeah, exactly. Maybe something that Melfort picked up on, though, and we'll get to game 2 and stuff in a second. The UPL playoff performer of the night for game 1 was, for the Weyburn Red Wings, Jerome Maharaj. We have a graphic for that one, guys. There it is. He had the game-tying shorthanded goal. That was one of the breakaway goals. And, funny story, Cody Mapes walked by me going back to the bench the one period. He's like, that barely went in, hey? I was like literally an inch.
Well,
it went an inch over the line.
Coombs got a piece of it.
He got a piece of it. It barely went over the line. And then, of course, he assisted Ethan DK's goal for the winner.
It's funny. Like, I'm trying to think about kind of evaluating Jerome Maharaj over these 2 games, really. And he's so brilliant. Like, he's such a genius. Like, offensively, like, he gets in a tight space, and he still knows where his teammates are, and he puts it right on their tape. And that's when you're like, wow. But then sometimes he's got a great lane to shoot a puck.
Right.
And he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll force this into traffic backdoor instead. So you take one with the other, and that's geniuses for you, I guess.
And again, standing with Daza was super fun because he used to play with all these guys. And he's like, there was a couple of times where he said, Jerome, shoot it.
Yeah, just shoot it.
And
he has a good shot.
He has a good shot, which is, he's one of those players too, Noogsy, to your point, where he's so talented and you can see that, but he's kind of like a shark, right? He kind of floats, or floats is the wrong word because that's a negative connotation in hockey, but he finds his spots and then he explodes, right? Like that's the kind of player he is, and he's really fun to watch. Game 2, guys, let's move right along here to game 2. Logan Belton obviously played a huge role in this game. And he, of course, was the UPL playoff performer of the night for Game 2 with the opening goal, which was the game winner, and, of course, the second goal. But some great performances all around. From the Melfort side specifically, Rory, if I can start with you on this one. Talk to me about how Melfort won this game so handily.
Great response in Melfort style, right? They were defensive, they were physical. Weyburn opened up physical, but Melfort countered right back. They gave Coombs eyes on almost every puck, and as soon as there was a little sniff of blood, when Weyburn took an undisciplined call and then another one, Melfort, you can't give them that many opportunities, but that's why they're the best team in the league, that if you hand them something small, they'll turn it in to 60 minutes and a victory at the end of it. But it was as complete of a home game for a team that's only allowed 8 goals on home ice in the playoffs so far. I think they've scored 28 or something at the Northern Lights Palace. That was the Melfort Mustangs to a T, and I thought they executed perfectly. Sure, they needed a Logan Belton 5-on-3 goal to beat Zoll for a 1-0 lead, and then their second one came even strength, but it was right as the guy was exiting the box. But again, you can't give them 5 straight power plays in the second period from undisciplined calls for the Weyburn Red Wings. The referee had the right to call every single thing in that stretch, and it just put Melfort to back power plays, and eventually they're going to make you pay for that. But they did, and that's why they're the best team in the league. They're capitalizing, and they won, and they tied the series up. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. And, on one hand, agree, like, Weyburn can't be taking those penalties. On the other hand, it's frustrating to play against Melfort when they're playing well because they are so heavy. They come at you in those waves, 4 lines deep, and they grind you, and they grind you, and they grind you. And the D did a really good job, even without Nolan Roberts, who, remember, got suspended in Game 1 for a hit on Drew Moldy. And I think it was probably the right call. But Logan Kipe stepped in, did a great job, and did a wonderful screen on Bo Eisner's goal.
Yep.
And how often, I asked Bo Eisner after the game, I said, how often does your D partner, is he the one screening the goalie? And he was like, I don't think that's ever happened. But it was a great shot by Bo and a good screen by Logan Kipe. But Logan stepped in well, but that speaks to the D of the Melfort, the depth of the Melfort Mustangs. Yep. That a guy like Logan Kipe can step in and be so good.
Can I ask you guys a question? And this would have been broadcast related because I saw it in the highlight pack. Was Angelo Zoll chugging mustard?
Oh, yes, he was.
Is that his thing? Have we talked about
it's
this?
for cramps, but
Okay.
Well, so Daza, so I asked Daza Mitchell, who is, of course, the great Weyburn and Humboldt broadcaster, or goaltender, and also broadcaster.
Too. Yeah.
We were talking about, and he texted me. He said, "Oh, Angelo, for cramps or whatever, he's chugging mustard." And I thought that was a euphemism
Like a
or
thing,
a metaphor or something. He's
There
like,
it
no,
is.
he's literally chugging. There it is. Way to go, Bryce. Throwing that up.
Look at the stains on his
Literally,
jersey.
yes.
Does he have
spelled
stains
it
on
on
his
his
jersey?
jersey.
oh yes, above the
Yeah.
SJHL logo,
Yeah.
it's all mustard
There
out.
you
my
go.
God.
Well, maybe he wanted an extra color like Daza did when Daza played for Humboldt. He had the red pads still.
Well, I
he
told
literally
Daza,
said it's a thing. Yeah.
Ty Matanovich has green pads, and I was like, Dazzle, why didn't you guys just trade gear? Like, he's like,
that's a good point.
didn't think of that.
That's a good point. But that being said, it was a great performance from Melfort. They kept their cool when maybe Weyburn didn't. And you know what? That's what the champions do. That's what an experienced team like Melfort can do. And they showed their pedigree.
Mm-hmm. And as we mentioned, Logan Belton was the Game 2 UPL Performer of the Night. He had the 2 goals, of course, to start the game off. The game winner, obviously, was the first goal. So just congrats to Logan Belton. Obviously, a fantastic performance there.
I know we're going to preview games 3 and 4 coming up in the last segment, but I just kind of want to pitch a question to both of you before we move on, go to Noogs and
Get my
Notes.
baseball ready.
If you are ready to hit it out of the park, Noogsy, I expect nothing less. Who do you have more trust in the confidence earned for these two teams? Weyburn in the confidence that they can beat Melfort, not only in this series, but in Melfort, if they play that type of game and stay out of the penalty box, or Melfort with that response, knowing that they have their game back?
Who's feeling better right now?
What confidence do you think will prove more successful down the road? Weyburn knowing, or Melfort having that confidence back and more recency winning?
Well, I mean, you always have to pick the team that has the experience and the depth, and still Melfort has the experience and the depth from the Centennial Cup, from last year, from the way this year has gone. And certainly, I think I would have been more surprised if Melfort didn't show up than the fact that they did in Game 2. So I'd say Melfort for sure.
And one thing I'll just mention, though, I'll to the other point, I guess, Rory, is Melfort only lost 9 games all year.
Yeah.
Not including shootouts. I'm not, because that doesn't apply anymore. So the fact that Weyburn was able to beat them in Game 1 on the road in their building with that crowd the way that it was in Game 1, I think that's it's got to be a huge confidence boost for them, knowing that, hey, it's going to go back for Game 5. If we take care of business at home.
Yeah.
Flin-Flon only lost 9 games all year up until the finals too.
Yeah, exactly.
Melfort beat them.
There you go. It's good stuff. And last thing I want to say is another thing that's clearly helped the Melfort Mustangs is having their moms around. Because, Wendy Belton, I see in the chat.
Yeah.
Say hello there to Wendy. And got to spend some time with the Shepherds yesterday, Jerry and Marley Shepherd. And what an incredible parent couple that Austin has. Austin Shepherd, of course, for the Melfort Mustangs, has such wonderful people, such kind people, and such an they're intense as well. And so you can see where Austin gets that from. But it was really awesome to hang out there with the Shepherds. And I also got to throw in a Weyburn parent. I had a great chat with Robin Chakrabarty, Max Chakrabarty's dad, who's in town from Vancouver. And again, wonderful dude. A lot of nice things to say about all of us. And love the league as well. So cool. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. But specifically, Mr. and Mrs. Shepherd and Mr. and Mrs. Chakrabarty. Hello.
Suck up, cough. But it's okay, I get it.
Flattery works.
They're all watching.
Every time I've talked to Austin, not in the middle of a hockey game, he's been extremely kind and gracious.
Oh, yeah.
And then he puts on the helmet.
They usually
and he's
are.
a Tasmanian devil out there, and he's flapping his gums. He's talking trash. He's hitting people. Like this. That's a switch. That's a sportsman switch.
He's probably got the most defined switch in the whole league.
So speaking of that, while we were in Game 1, or there in Melfort for Game 1, I met with Scott and Maury Binner, who is Caleb Binner's mom and dad. Dad and mom, I should say. Scott is a cousin of mine. So I got to catch up with them. And Caleb's got 3 younger brothers. And they all came over. I all said hi. They all shook my hand. His youngest brother was like, "Hey, good to meet you." And I'm like, "I've met you before, but it was like when you were like a baby, so I don't expect you to remember." But so nice. And then what you see out there, same thing. Caleb Binner, he's one of those guys where he gets on the ice and I don't want to play
And
against
before
that guy.
morning
Yeah.
skate, before game 2, the Binner family was out there cleaning the Northern Lights Palace.
Yeah.
I guess they were helping out the crew.
Why
all
not?
the garbage
They got
and
enough
stuff.
of 'em.
Hey, Mr. Binner almost ran me over with a cart thing. And, yeah, it's a great time.
There's 5 of them out there, so they might as well help out
Yeah,
while they're there.
good for
they
you.
got a whole crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they're in town visiting from Calgary, so shout out to the Binner family.
Yeah.
Let's check out the schedule here for the rest of the series. As we mentioned, we're going to break down kind of our previews for Game 3 and 4 a little bit later on in the show. But as you can see, Game 3 and 4 do go Wednesday and Thursday in Weyburn. Both are 7 o'clock start times. Game 5 will take place on Sunday. It's a 7:30 puck drop on that one. And then if necessary, because we are in that conversation now, Game 5 is necessary. It's happening. But Game 6, we aren't sure yet. That'll be in Weyburn on next Wednesday. And then Saturday, May 3rd, will be Game 7. So there's lots of time in between those games, in Game 5, 6, and 7. If necessary for 6 and 7, of course.
Yeah, and you aren't going to want to miss Game 3 in Weyburn by the way Game 2 ended.
Yeah.
The way we even called it, we're like, in the finals, it was... They don't like each other
There
now.
was some nasty-
They didn't to start. They definitely don't like each other now.
Yeah.
So Game 3 is going to be something.
There was a really good fight between I don't know how much we're fans of fighting or not, but whatever. There was a good fight, we'll say, between Cypress Smith-Davis and Bo Eisner,
Good fight.
and Bo Eisner was an assist away from a Gordie Howe hat trick, and so they were all like, "We're going to give him all the awards if he gets the Gordie Howe," but I don't think Bo got an assist, unfortunately. But I guess just. Rory, you like that fight from both perspectives? You think one was happier because of the fight?
Yeah, and I'm
than
a
the
big proponent of it. I still like it in hockey, and it was a good moment of the game where Cyprus thought his team needed it. Bo's going to stand up for his team as well in Game 2 to set a tone on both sides. I thought Bo won the first half of the fight. I thought Cyprus won the second half of the fight. It was very even. They both stood up. I wouldn't have been surprised if they patted each other on the shoulder, skated to the bench, and it was great. It was a great fight.
In the video, you can see Cyprus trying to give Bo like a good props or whatever, but the linesmen were like, "You guys have had enough tangling." But apparently Cyprus got, I guess, hit the boards or something on the ice, and he really chipped his tooth. So I think he's in dentistry right now. So hopefully that's all going really well, Cyprus.
So
maybe he's watching this, probably not.
Some inside scoop was we actually asked him to be on the show, and he couldn't because he had a dentist appointment. So he's not on the show today.
Finished with 80 combined penalty minutes in Game 2.
There was lots of nasty.
Yeah, 80 combined penalty minutes.
We love that. And as per, this is unfortunate, and maybe we'll talk about this going into our Game 3 and 4 preview, but Weyburn, as I'm just seeing Rory on your stat sheet there, 0 for 7 on the power play. That power play continues to, for whatever reason,
We'll
struggle.
save it. We'll talk about it.
We'll save it.
It needs. Cody Mapes even had words for it in the middle of the period interview. So we'll break it down.
Stay tuned for the word.
There's a cliffhanger. There's a teaser. We're going to hit a break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by leading scorer of the Melfort Mustangs, Reilley Kotai. Stick around.
Your new truck trade-up has arrived at Capital GMC. Volume pricing is back. As inventory levels go up, prices come way down. And right now, we have over 250 brand new GMC Sierras to choose from. Lease a Crew Cab 4x4 Pro Edition for only $269 bi-weekly plus tax with $0 down. Or work with our finance experts to get the best available rates. Plus, GM certified pre-owned inventory is back too. Shop over 150 vehicles, all makes, all models. It's finally time for your new truck trade-up, only at Capital GMC.
Each year, the SCSA issues over 10,000 training certificates to the construction professionals who build our province. That's the population of Martinsville. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
Saskatchewan's far north is where the land itself inspires. It's the beauty and power of wilderness, the solitude of a place far removed from what you might know. When this landscape surrounds you, it's like nothing else. Come and let it awaken you, energize you. Come and create your story in our Northern Lights and Waterways. Saskatchewan.
In a year where Amazon sold its first book, Alanis topped the charts, and the Frappuccino became cool, we were there. Trusted by the Saskatchewan construction industry since 1995. Learn more at scsaonline.ca.
As a student, things can pile up fast. Ouch. But the RBC Student Banking Bundle makes back to school easier with up to $275 in value. That's a whole pile of takeout.
Introducing SaskTel Student Saving Tips. Tip number 138. You could build your own pallet furniture.
So you're living on your own. You gotta save money by building furniture with pallets.
Or get Infinite 150 for only $50 a month with SaskTel Student Deals.
Increase your home comfort with high-efficiency natural gas equipment. Sask Energy offers rebates so you can lower your energy use and save money. For a list of rebates, contact a participating network member or visit saskenergy.com.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Welcome back for SJHL Weekly. Of course, we're recapping games 1 and 2 of the SJHL, or I guess I should say the Canterra Seeds Cup final. And to do that, we'll bring a guy who was right in the middle of all the action. And of course, that's Reilley Kotai of the Melfort Mustangs. Reilley, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate the time. I know there's a lot going on right now, so thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Obviously, game 1 didn't quite go your way. Game 2 was a great response. Can you just talk to us a little bit about the differences maybe between game 1 and 2 for you guys?
It was definitely needed to play our way of hockey, needed to play harder and just respond. And we definitely did that, and we're able to get pucks and bodies to the net, and it went our way.
So I was in Melfort for game 1, of course, in the building there. I really thought you guys came out strong in the first period. Then we kind of mentioned it. Maybe Weyburn kind of came on a little bit over the course of the rest of the game and maybe took over a little bit. Did you feel that same way? Did you feel like you guys had control early on in that game? And did something change? Was there anything there?
I definitely feel like, we scored early, so that was a big help when we were out shooting them for a bit. But I think we just let our foot off the gas pedal a bit. And over a course of a game, Weyburn, they're going to capitalize if you let them. So I feel like we let our foot off the gas pedal, like I said, and that was a difference maker there.
Did you feel, because you did have a decent amount of stretch, but then again, great start, scored the first goal. Did you feel any rust just personally from getting up to that level of energy to be in the finals, or not? Where you guys, had a good start, were ready to go, and then, like you said, let off?
I definitely feel like maybe there's a little bit of rust, but it's the finals. We gotta be ready to go as a team, and I feel like definitely in game 2 we were able to respond and had a much better performance.
For sure. Now, obviously this is a big question, so, bear with me. But the line between, between being physical and playing on the edge and going over it was maybe a topic that Rory and I were throwing back and forth a lot during the second game especially. And it seemed like Weyburn, maybe went over that line and took a lot of penalties, and you guys were, trying to stay on that line. I guess, how was it for you and the group, to kind of tap into your maturity and to tap into your experience to not go over that line as well?
I would definitely say it's a very fine line. Playoffs, you can get away with some stuff, but then other times the refs are going to even it up, and we definitely experienced that later in the second. But definitely wanting to be physical and wear them down definitely helped, I would say. But yeah, there's a very fine line, and you just gotta try and play within it.
Yeah. Is that something that you recognize as well yourself in game 2? Because, you got tagged with 2 penalties, both kind of a little bit of away from the play when maybe you're trying to tread that line a bit. Do you look back at that and be like, okay, you know what, I can maybe eliminate one of those, but I don't want to lose that edge as well?
Yeah, I would definitely say the second one for sure. But I mean, when you're in it, it's like sometimes you lose it, but definitely for me, I want to be physical and I want to cause turnovers, and that's a big part of my game, and I can really bring that edge that I feel like can help us win.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, Daz Mitchell on the broadcast was calling Belton's power play goal there the Draisaitl, I guess, the goal line one-timer. It was a beautiful passing play by you guys. And obviously, you guys have such a formidable power play, and the fact that there were stretches where you guys weren't scoring, even though you're getting looks, weren't scoring on the power play. Weyburn was doing a pretty decent job. Were you guys getting a little frustrated, or was it really stick to the program?
It was maybe a little frustrated, but it was more just stick to the program, because we knew we were getting looks and we knew it was going to come. And it was just, for us, it felt like a matter of time, and it was. And we were able to move it around, and I was able to find myself up top with space and then found Belt's back door.
When you're swinging along the top and on that left side, eyes on everything on the power play, sometimes quarterbacking it, sometimes loading up for the one-timer. What does Weyburn do so effectively? Because they have one of the best penalty kills in the playoffs so far. And, you guys are 1 for 11, I believe, in the finals. You did get the game-winning goal on it, so it worked. But just what does Weyburn, what does Weyburn kind of do that's tough to navigate as that power play quarterback and also trigger man?
They're very aggressive, and then they're passive. So it's difficult that way, but they go hard at you. So there's not a lot of time and space. You have to think quickly, and you bobble a puck or make a bad pass, they're jumping on it, which is good on them. That's a good kill. So it's just for us finding a way to create movement and tire them out.
What oftentimes we always say the best penalty killer is the goaltender, and Angelo Zoll has put up a really good fight so far. He's been great all year long for Weyburn. What is the biggest challenge for him, for you guys, that you've noticed so far in terms of facing a goaltender that's been playing very well?
Yeah, he has been great for them. For us, I feel like it's just get to the net, get traffic, and cause havoc, because, I mean, for any goal, you can't see it. You might stop it, but most likely not.
Yeah, no, obviously you had a pretty good goalie to shoot on growing up in Josh Kotai at the University of Augustana D1, obviously. But has he reached out to you? Has he talked to you? I know I kind of asked him to bug you a little bit to come on the show today, and Josh is always very obliging, so I appreciate that. But obviously he had that experience with Battlefords and going to the Centennial Cup. Did he give you any tips, sort of, to be focused or physically, in this time?
I mean, He's been great. He always gives me a little bit of insight on like how tough it's going to be, especially at this time of year. So, I mean, he's a great big brother, and he helps me out with lots of stuff, especially goalie tips to where to shoot and whatnot.
I've actually won from a viewer, and I'm pretty sure this is Tony Pellerin. It's spelled super weird, Tony, and I'm sure you're just playing a joke on Facebook, but he has a two-part question for you, Riley. Have you played in front of a more raucous atmosphere than Melfort? I guess last couple games in Melfort. And what's one of your most favorite goals that you've scored in your hockey career?
So first part, I mean, it's been unreal. Like, it's loud in there, and you definitely can build off that energy. And it's been lots of fun to play in front of. The fans have been great. And second part, I would say my favorite goal of like my career. I'll stick to this year. Probably my first hat trick goal. I would say that was it.
Nice.
That'd be it.
Love that.
Yeah, beauty.
Who was that against?
Battlefords.
There you go.
I should know that, but
well, yeah. Last one from me, Riley. Really appreciate your time as always. And again, I got to go back to talking about Big Bro, because I'm such a big fan, and I'm sure you guys know that already. But I was wondering, who do you think would be better, you in net or Josh out?
Ooh, we do that in the summer sometimes. I would say, I'll give it to him. He's got some pretty silky mitts out, and let's just say my goaltending isn't too good.
Well, fair enough.
It's probably a harder switch to go from forward to net than it is net out. They're skating.
Just like cardiovascular.
Yeah.
That's like in baseball, if you're saying like a pitcher and a second baseman or something, like, or shortstop, like what's easier to go switch from? It's the same thing, kind of. It's easier to play shortstop than it is to pitch, I would say.
All right, I want to get your mind off of hockey for a second and into the sector of brotherly rivalry, as Noogsy perfectly segued into tonight's segment of Rory's Rapid Fire, presented by Elkridge. So it's called You or Josh. Quickly, just who's better in these categories? Golf.
Me.
Love that.
Ping pong.
Josh.
Public speaking.
That's close. I'm going to give it to me.
Okay. You have no problem getting up on stage and doing a report, and you're happy to do it?
I could do it. I feel like I could do it better than him, though.
Arm wrestling.
Oh, we haven't done that in so long, but you know what? I'm going to give it to me again. I'm going to give it to me.
Singing. What, did we lose him?
Oh, he froze up there. Try again.
We missed that one. Singing.
Oh, singing. I thought you said stinging. My bad. I'll give that one to him. He's pretty good.
Cooking.
Him again.
And finally, if you had to do a stand-up comedy routine.
Man. I feel like the one problem would be like remembering stuff. We both have decent memory. I'll give that one to him because he's pretty funny and quick with it.
You're a very gracious brother. I think you gave most to your older brother, Josh. I have 4 brothers myself. I wouldn't give them anything. So really gracious. I think Noogsy's got one more.
And I got one more, and I'm going to get some real abuse for this, but I'm a dad, and that's okay. So who has a better eye for coats?
Oh, interesting.
Like picking out coats to buy.
Because his name is Kotai.
Kotai.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dad joke right there.
Like, yeah.
Wait, I think I got you.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Who's a better dresser?
Who's got the better fashion?
Who's a better dresser?
He does. He does,
okay.
definitely.
Another one to Josh. All right. Well, he owes you something, a little gift for hyping that much praise on him. Quickly, because you're in the finals, your brother was in the finals. Who's winning the Stanley Cup Finals?
Dallas Stars.
Okay.
Okay. From your hat.
There you go. There's the hat trick, or the hat trick. That's a different show. There's the rapid fire, is what I'm trying to say. Last one for you, Riley. Just before we let you go, what's the message right now in the room? What's the keys going on the road to Weyburn? I know you guys are heading there. I think tomorrow. What's the key in the locker room right now for games 3 and 4?
I would definitely say just sticking together, playing our game, and just playing hard, and trying not to give Weyburn any sort of momentum. And yeah, I would say that's it.
There you go. I know that crowd's going to be into it. It's going to be a great time there. So enjoy it. I always try to say this when it gets to this time of year, but really try to take it all in because it's something pretty special that you're being a part of there. So enjoy. Good luck the rest of the way, Riley, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, there we go, Reilley Kotai, and he apparently his brother has a better eye for coats.
Eye for coats.
So there you
I
go.
wouldn't have gave my brothers anything.
No.
No.
Well, your eye for coats is pretty great. So.
I do like jackets.
He's got a good eye for coats.
I've got a great eye for coats.
We have a little special feature here for today's show, and it was actually a part of your broadcast for Game 2. But we did announce the winner of the 2025 RBC Community Ambassador Program for this season, and it was Tylan Henrikson of the Yorkton Terriers. So let's check out the interview from last night's broadcast now.
Proud to be joined by this year's winner from the Yorkton Terriers, Tylan Henrikson. Congratulations. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. And yeah.
Before we get into this, let's talk about what we just saw on the ice. What do you think?
It's a fast game for sure. I think obviously both teams, they want to win, so I think they're doing everything they can out there. Lots of block shots. yeah.
Scoreless after 1-0 is the series lead for the Weyburn Red Wings. Now the RBC Brand Ambassador program is a big thing. How did you find out you won? What was your reaction?
I actually, it was on Monday morning. Calvin phoned me just to kind of let me know that I had won, and I was pretty excited. It's nice to be like recognized, and yeah, no, I was super thrilled for sure.
What are some of the things that you did throughout the course of the season?
Just going to schools and stuff. I live with 3 billets. They go to Yorkdale Elementary School in Yorkton there.
Tell us their names. They're probably watching.
Tucker, Ellie, and Theo, the String Fellows. So,
all right, there we go.
Shout out to them. And then it's a mentorship program. It's called Big Brother, Big Sister. So I did that. I went and visited a kid once a week and kind of helped him out, played some games, and mentorship program.
What's that relationship meant to you?
It's pretty cool to see it, just kind of being able to have a positive impact on someone that needs it, and super cool for sure. And then just hockey practices, little things like that. Yeah.
And part of the program is you get to give back to somebody. You've picked somebody near and dear to your heart.
Pardon?
You picked something near and dear to your heart. Foam Lake Elementary.
Yeah. So I gave the money back to Foam Lake Elementary School. That's where I grew up. Lots of my family grew up there, so it was nice to give back to them and kind of go back to where it all started.
Did you get to see their reaction?
Yeah. So I went and did like a little assembly, talked to all the kids, gave the principal the check, and it was super cool. They gave me a nice card, everyone signed it and stuff. So
you're watching the finals. How excited are you to maybe have a chance at it one more time next year?
I think we're super excited. I think in Yorkton, we want to go for a deep run again next year, and we want to win it all. So I think we can do it, but no.
We're going to put you on the spot. Prediction for tonight, very quick.
I think Melfort's going to take the one tonight. It's going to be a low-scoring game, maybe like a 2-1, 3-2, but yeah.
Lots of block shots. Yeah. Tylan, congratulations. Thank you for all you're doing for the community in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, and good luck next season.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Big shout out to Daryl Rommel, by the way. He told me before game 1 that he's never actually done this role in media before. I mean, he's a legend. He's done it all, but he's never actually been a host of a broadcast like that. So shout out to Daryl. He's a legend. Also shout out to Tylan. And I just thought this was really interesting. Tylan's an 05, so he's eligible to come back next year. Joey Lees is an 05, so he's eligible to come back next year. He's last year's winner. So we could have 2 guys duking it out next year who have both won it before.
2 champions.
So community ambassadors.
Like a special edition of Jeopardy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 2 guys next year duking it out. It's going to be interesting to see. They're just going to be out in the community all the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Make sure you get back to the rink in time for practice next year, Tylan.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
That's all I got to say. But there is an article up on SJHL.ca with more information on Tylan, and you can check that out on all our social media channels as well. So shout out to Tylan Henrikson. Guys, let's do a quick... actually, no. I'm going to throw it to you, Noogsy. It's time for Noobs and Notes.
Oh, I tried to catch him.
He got through.
He's out of there.
He's slippery.
He's a slippery guy.
Yeah.
He's a little guy. You know what? Well, the Melfort Mustangs players were warming up maybe before game 1, and they just started yelling, "Where's little Noogsy?"
Really?
I was like, you guys are a bunch of goofs. Anyway, speaking of goofs, I have a couple apologies to make to start with. The first apology that I have to make is
the Kotai family for that.
Not at all. I think that was a terrific pun.
I liked it.
I'm going to apologize to Dazza Mitchell because I called him out on the broadcast. I thought he said "we" when referring to the Weyburn Red Wings on the broadcast. Apparently, I was wrong, and I paid Dazza back as we checked it out. So there you go. Apologies there. Also, apologies to Nolan Roberts and the Melfort Mustangs. Because I didn't realize, being league media in my role, that Nolan had committed to the University of Guelph Griffins in youth sports in the OUA for a while now. So I apologize, but here's your announcement. Congratulations. I didn't realize that Kelsey Peterson, the terrific community and marketing person for the Melfort Mustangs, had posted it. So there you go. I apologize there to the Mustangs and to Nolan Roberts. Great spot, University of Guelph. I used to go to Laurier, which is very close to Guelph. Big rivals there. So congratulations.
That was pretty funny though. Before game 1, he was walking by you and you're like, "Nolan, when did you commit to Guelph?" He's like, "I don't know, a couple months ago." He's like,
in a typical Nolan Roberts way. If you know Nolan Roberts, you know Nolan Roberts. All right. Moving on, a couple things. The U18 AAA Boys Championship, the TELUS Cup, is underway today. The Regina Patsies, the West Region champions, will take on the hosts from Fraser Valley tonight. You can catch that on HN Live as usual. Sean Mullen, our good buddy, will be calling that one. And at the SO Cup, the Saskatoon Stars are 2 games in. They beat North York, the North York Storm, and they lost to the Quebec champions, Étoile de Laurentide. And I went in for morning skate, to talk to Trevor Blevins, and he was watching his stepdaughter playing on that team. I'm not going to say who it is because that's not appropriate, but his stepdaughter plays on the Saskatoon Stars, and so he was watching closely, which I thought was really cool. He has meetings with his guys and told them what's what, and then he was like, I got to go watch the SO Cup. So really cool. And, hopefully they bring a championship. Always great to see Saskatchewan teams do well, and those are 2 terrific ones. So good luck, guys.
Love that. Lots of good stuff.
I do have a quick apology to make, too.
Oh, man. What is this?
Yeah. And it's an apology to Noobs.
Oh, that was super funny.
On the broadcast. Sometimes I'm not sure where the head goes. I must have been following the play. But the Weyburn's on their 5-minute power play to start the 3rd period in game 1. Right? Yeah, game 1. And they start with their 2nd unit. They got about 2 minutes left on the power play. And Noogsy's saying something. I should be listening to what he's saying. He is my broadcast partner. I guess I wasn't. Because he finishes talking, and then they pull out the 1st unit. And I literally, seconds after he finished talking, asked him a question. Saying,
exactly what he just said.
Noogsy, aren't you surprised at all that they started with the 2nd power play unit? And Noogsy looks at me, he's like, yeah. That's what I just said.
I just spent about 20 seconds being like, sometimes you put the 2nd unit out there more direct to get pucks right on. I like the decision by Cody, get some momentum for the team. And then Rory's like, but what about the 2nd power play unit? So then we had a good laugh about it afterwards. It was fun.
I must have been watching a play.
That's fine. It was fun.
I wasn't just looking at the crowd, but I definitely wasn't listening.
I forgive you.
That's funny. I don't have to apologize to anybody, I don't think. So I'm not going to apologize to anyone.
Right.
I'm not going to apologize to anyone.
Search your soul.
No, I'm good. I think I'm good. Okay. I'll apologize to the Toronto Maple Leafs because I missed part of the 1st period of the game yesterday.
Well, I was broadcasting.
I think they'll be okay.
So. Yeah, they might be okay.
They'll be fine.
They'll be okay. Let's do a little bit of reflection on games 1 and 2, and then let's move into games 3 and 4. Guys, so far in games 1 and 2, I want to ask you who has shown up and who needs to maybe step up. And Noogsy, maybe I'll start with you. Let me hear what you got. Let's start with Weyburn. You good with that?
Sure, yeah. I'll start with Weyburn. Yeah, positive. Josh Carman was absolutely brilliant in both games, really, but especially game 1. But he wore pucks in game 2 also. And, I think he had 3 block shots in game 1 on that penalty kills we talked about. He was black and blue, and apparently he didn't need any ice. He didn't ask for any ice. But apparently he did say ow once, I heard. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And then the person to step up is Cody Mapes, the head coach and GM of the Weyburn Red Wings. Look, Cody, I get it. You run the special teams, but we need to interview you when it's your turn to be interviewed. So please don't say, like, I don't have time or whatever. Be like, okay, let's do this quickly. I need to draw something up. And I'm sure the guy will oblige. I don't need to talk about this. I'm talking about this too long right now.
You're good.
But, I'm kind of serious and I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of serious. Do your interview. Thank you.
Also, shout out to Cliff Mapes, his dad. I saw Cliff down underneath after the game. Great guy. I love talking to him.
Yeah.
And Cody's probably watching or will be watching.
Well, probably. Yeah. And he'll be like, no, I gotta.
Well, if you remember, he probably is watching because after our preview show, when Noogsy's quote was, Weyburn's pretty good. And I said, all right, you heard it here first, folks. Weyburn's pretty good. And then they were going to make a T-shirt about it.
Weyburn's pretty good, and Mapes, do your interviews. Those are two shirts.
Yeah.
It could be a lot worse. If that's the worst thing that happened, I think we're okay there.
My showing up has been Drew Moldy. I think he's playing with a motor. I think he's playing with heart. He's playing what you need. You're not top guys to have in the finals. Picking up energy for the guys. He's been cut on the face. He's been hit with pucks. He's been knocked down. He gets back up. He gets on the next shift. I've loved every shift he's been out there in terms of energy and execution and just doing what he needs to do in his role. He doesn't need to get 3 goals a game, but he's been very effective. And then a guy I think hard not to disagree. Is that what I'm trying to say?
Sure.
Hard to disagree.
Finish your sentence and then we'll come back to this.
Max Chakrabarty, on the power play especially, led the league in power play points with 31, more than any other player in the SJHL. Cody Mapes called that power play a joke so far. And he's a guy that's got a quarterback and he's got to play a little more urgency. 1 point in his last 7 games. That's combined throughout all the 420 minutes. So just a little bit more. I know his defense has been good, but you got to be able to find a little bit of generated offense on the power play, especially. So Shocker Barty will need to do that.
I'll just reply to that very quickly. Now, okay, nobody cares about excuses, and fair enough. They faced Flin Flon and Melfort. Those are two incredible penalty killing teams.
Yep.
But you got to score when you get the chance. It doesn't matter who you're against.
And I know it's not just him on the power play. I could have said the whole power play.
No, for sure. But this is the game we're playing.
He led the league in power play points.
It's a mean game. Sorry.
And right now doesn't have any in the last 7 games.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly. And it's this time of year, you have to take advantage of your opportunities, and so far it just hasn't happened.
He knows that.
I won't go too far into it. I think who's shown up, Noogsy, we talked about this kind of jokingly, but also not jokingly before the show. Lucas Schmid, his face-off ability is unbelievable this season, and especially in the playoffs. He was so good against Battlefords in round 1, and his numbers are just phenomenal. If you go look at his numbers, Noogs, I don't know if you had that from when we talked about it before.
71%.
71% in game 1, I think it was.
Game 1, yeah.
And then game 2, not so much. Who knows if that's
19,
the reason they won or lost.
19% in game 2,
But so a big difference there. But just wanted to give him a shout out because face-offs are important, especially at this time of year. Puck possession is so crucial, so I'll give him a little shout out there. Let's move on to Melfort. Step up and who needs to step up, who's shown up.
Yeah, and you know what? Trevor Blevins told me that he was extremely impressed with Ashton Paul, and I was like, all right, well, I'll see it. And then he's been gritty. Does he get that many points? You know, he's involved. He led the Melfort Mustangs in shots on goal in game 1. He hit the crossbar in game 1 as well. And he's a guy that's got lots of talent and a great shot, but it was just whether, he would buy in and have a little bit of jam, as they call it, get physical. At this time of the year, if you're going to play for Melfort especially, you got to be physical. So Ashton has done that in spades. And, even Mike Reagan, his former coach in Flin Flon, was very happy to see the development there, and Ashton's been very good. And to step up, and I don't mean he played bad, but Nolan Roberts, again, I'm not trying to hammer a kid. He got suspended. He's dealing with a suspension. We move on. But as a veteran guy, and he knows this, I'm sure he feels bad, you can't get yourself kicked out of a game like that, and ease up, and it was the right call in my opinion that for that hit on Moldy. So there you go. Don't mean to hammer a kid too bad, but can't get yourself kicked out of a game if you're a 20-year-old experienced defenseman.
Yeah, I'll start with step up just for that exact reason. Not because of when the play is around him. I thought he's had 2 pretty decent games, especially a great game in the second one. But it's the away from the play penalties, and we just talked to Reilley Kotai about it, and he knows he wants to have that edge and that physicality in the game. Look, we've knocked him sometimes for being sometimes too perimeter, and now he's getting in the muck, and now I'm knocking him for that. You can't win. I understand that, but the slashing one later in the third period I didn't like. The roughing one even probably could have been avoided in the first period. There is a line. I think he has a very good ability to play it, but look, Weyburn's power play might figure it out eventually, and you don't want to be the player in the box due to an undisciplined penalty when Weyburn does figure out their power play. Doesn't have to step up his game in terms of what he's doing. It's when the play is away from him. Just be careful because that can bite you. And in the finals, it'll bite harder than ever before.
Yeah, just walk the emotion line.
Walk the emotional line, exactly. And then my guy I thought has shown up who's been unsung, except for us talking about his fight, has been Bo Eisner. Rang one off the bar in game 1, found a goal in game 2, got a fight, nearly a Gordie Howe hat trick. We talk about Ty Thornton, Nick Andrusiak, Zach Turner, all these high experienced, 2 of them WHL players. Bo Eisner just plays a steady defensive game. He can be on a pairing with Nolan Roberts. He can be on a pairing with Logan Kipe, 2 different guys now in 2 different games, and he's looked exceptional.
And he made an incredible play as well, because it looked like Ethan Dike had a breakaway.
Cut him off.
And he was able to match him stride for stride. How many guys in the league can match Ethan Dike stride for stride?
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
And, Bo Eisner is another guy, and in the long list of, over time, Melfort Mustang defensemen who will be eligible to come back next year, and he's going to be a stud. He's the next one, I think, for that team. I think for next year, he's going to be a huge leader.
For all these veteran guys, the Melfort coaching staff are super, super high on their young D-men. Like Teo Fleury. It's going to be a machine again next year.
Seems to be that they might have a little bit of a machine going there. They've had one for a while now. Anyways, great analysis, guys. And one guy who I think needs to step up, and I didn't mention this during the Weyburn, is Angelo Zoll. I think you got to hit your mouth with the mustard bottle. You can't have it all over your jersey.
I think maybe it was on purpose. Maybe it was like war paint.
War paint. Unless, do you think he was spraying it and then used his jersey to wipe it off? Because get the guy a towel.
Or it's just to save for later. Like if he can't get to the bench for a little mustard, just a little nibble.
You could hide some in there.
Yeah. In the bear.
In the bear. Yeah.
He's got to get a bear on his jersey, I guess, huh? Anyways, let's do a quick thoughts on Game 3. Let's start with just basically Game 3. You can say Game 3 and 4 if you want, but let's start with you, Noogsy. Thoughts on Game 3, what needs to be done for both teams?
I have zero thoughts on Game 4 because I need to watch Game 3 first.
Fair enough.
I really do. Everything in the finals and everything in the playoffs even really is one game at a time. So,
absolutely.
Game 3, look, it's a different venue. It's going to be a different feeling. For whatever reason, and I don't really know what it is, and I'm sure Cody Mapes is trying to figure it out too, the Weyburn Red Wings have actually done better at getting up and starting on time for games on the road. It's time to give the Weyburn faithful something to cheer about right away from the puck drop in Weyburn. They've come out in droves, but they've been a little bit quieter and watching. And part of that, I think, is because maybe Weyburn started a little bit slower at home than they have on the road. So for Weyburn, get that quick start, get that fire in your belly right away because, Melfort's not going to wait around for Game 3. They got a little bit of momentum now. So be interesting to see.
Melfort's got, plenty of momentum. The majority of it, I would say. Weyburn has the knowledge, knowing that they can beat Melfort. Stay out of the bloody box, right? I mean, look at these penalties here. You had Josh Carman for holding, which I'm not sure he was a huge fan of that one, but then that was with 19:45 into the first period. It carried over into the second period. Josh Sale interference was a penalty. Blake Betzing handling the puck was a penalty. Too many men penalty after that. Jerome Maharaj right off the faceoff tripped a guy. Lucas Schmidt tripped a guy. They were all penalties. The refs are going to call every single one of them. You're not getting away with any of those. And that ended the game for you in the second period. It was 0-0 before they scored on that 5-on-3. So Weyburn, stay out of the box. You have to try and get the power play working. And then I feel that 5-on-5, it's been, at least stretches of very even hockey. Sure, you've got punished in your zone, but you've also had Melfort in their zone for a while. Melfort with the game they played on Tuesday. What am I talking about? Sunday in Game 2. I guess Tuesday.
Game Tuesday.
If they play that game, this series might be over in 5. They might win. It was a perfect game, right? That was the mold. It was the mold for their ability to win.
It was the fact that they find a way to win no matter what the game model is, and certainly they were much better in a lot of areas, Melfort, in Game 2 than they were in Game 1. But also, I have had coaches around the league reach out to me yesterday and today already, being like, "We're actually pretty impressed with Weyburn 5-on-5." In this series, a lot, there were a few shifts where it was typical Melfort, hem you in, you can't breathe, can't get pucks out. Melfort's changing with the puck in the offensive zone, then you're in trouble, right? Because then you're tired. It is a marvel to watch usually, but that happens super rarely in these two games. So there's lots of positives for both teams to take heading into Game 3, and both teams have wind in their sails. Both teams have video to show. I think it's been a perfect, for the neutral so far in the finals, and I'm really looking forward to Game 3.
I'd like to see it open up to Game 3 with another big. That was 6 seconds, not even 6 seconds, 3 seconds. Chad LeBeau, boom on Andrew Ziaker.
That was a big hit.
Opening puck drop, open ice, hammer. I loved it.
You've no other time. Just go back and watch the first 5 seconds.
5 seconds of the game.
I mean, unless you're related to Nick Andrusiak.
Right.
Don't do that.
But I think one of the big things that for the fans to all really focus on so far is that Game 1 could have gone either way. Despite, take away that huge string of penalties in Game 2.
Second, it was 0-0.
And all of a sudden, that game goes either way. And this is a very, very exciting series where both teams could win on any given night. So if you're going to be around the Weyburn area, Southern Saskatchewan as a whole, make sure you are calling the Weyburn office. It might even be sold out by now. I wouldn't be shocked.
They went on sale this morning, I believe, right?
Well, it might be sold out already. Who knows? But if you are around and you think you can travel, get to that game. It's going to be a ton of fun. That building is going to be electric.
What's it hold? Do you know? 2,000?
About 2,000, I would say. Yeah, it's smaller than Melfort. Melfort's is a little over 2,000. It's smaller than that, but
so get them.
Yeah, get them. It's going to be a great, great time. And they might, who knows? I don't know what the fire code is. I don't want to get them in trouble, but they might slide a few extras in the door. Who knows? Standing room only type stuff.
Well, and hopefully,
because remember, you can fill up that lobby too.
It's not like we, live in Regina. You live in Regina. Like, we don't hope the Pats are bad, but they had a brutal year.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a junior hockey team
Get out there.
that's close, that's in the finals.
Yeah.
Drive out.
Weyburn's an hour away, folks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Get
exactly.
out there, Regina.
Let's, Jordan, if you can bring up the schedule graphic one more time, let's just give one more reminder of when these games are. It's going to be Wednesday night and Thursday night in Weyburn. So we will have an episode of SJHL Insider following Wednesday's game. Nugsy, I think you're still good with that. I know you're going to be in Weyburn for that, probably.
No.
Right? Are you coming back?
Yeah,
You weren't sure?
I'm coming home after Game 4. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do an episode of Insider, kind of as a Game 4 preview, I guess, then. So stay tuned for that. But it is Wednesday and Thursday, and then Sunday for Game 5, which is definitely happening.
It's necessary.
It's necessary. Game 6 we aren't sure of yet. Game 7 we aren't sure of yet, but those will be the following Wednesday and the following Saturday. So, again, lots of time in between Games 5, 6, and 7, but regardless, we're focused, like Newsy said, we don't have any thoughts on Game 4 yet. We're still focused on Game 3. That goes on Wednesday night. It's going to be a great time. Let's thank our sponsors one more time. Of course, it starts with Borgo, Canterra Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Chevrolet, Sask Lotteries, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Nutrien, Tourism Saskatchewan, Sask Energy, UPL, broadcast sponsor, of course, with us. Rory, I'm just seeing that your bear is in the shot.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Bartolo.
Bartolo, that's what you named him?
Yeah.
Sask Energy, I think I said that. SGEU, Great Western, SGI, and RBC. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We will have you all covered, as I mentioned, on all of our social media channels, sjhl.ca, but also Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels and get your subscription to Flow Hockey to check it out, or check out these gentlemen on SaskTel.
Also, where's the crew? Can we get the crew up for a second?
I think so. Unless they're hiding back
Unless
there.
they're hiding.
Yeah,
There he is.
There you go. I think we deserve a round of applause today. For the first time in the entire season, we are out at 2:30, guys. We didn't keep you here until 3:30, 3:15, 3:45.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
We have 1 hour showtime. We hit it.
Okay, so now we're going to get into our real third segment. We haven't even started it yet. Let's. I have 45 minutes of extra content.
We're going to break down all the potential Centennial Cup teams now.
Yeah. We're actually going to do next year's preview show right
Edmonton
now.
Blizzard, folks. This is what they look like.
Sure about that?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. No, we're good. So anyways, these guys are going to hit the road. You'll see them on Wednesday night on SaskTel Max. You'll see me and Nugsy on Thursday. You'll see these guys again on SaskTel Max on Thursday. And it's going to be a great, great time. Enjoy the hockey, everyone, and we'll see you again on Thursday.